Okay, welcome back to Hanger 51. Who's going to be first in the room tonight? I'm guessing Shadow, maybe. Maybe. I'm thinking. We'll see here in just a second. Getting a little bit of a late start. And I was right, it was Shadow. So when you play this back, you'll hear that I bet it was going to be you first. So I won the bet. I won the bet with myself. As I said, who's going to be first in this show? I bet it's Shadow. And boom, there you are. So good to see you, buddy. We're getting a little late. So I had I'll tell this story. I had a little birthday party I had to go to. Printed a bunch of new, very cool vases for. She turned 84. It's actually the mother of my attorney, and he thought she would like some vases, so I printed her 8 different. I actually printed 9. The 9th one was this, which is a little tea lamp. You put a light in it. Hang on a minute. Let me get the light in there. It's pretty cool. And let me turn this off for a second here. I think it'll show up. Yeah, now you can see the little light inside. So, kind of cool. But I broke it. So I dropped on the floor and it poked a little hole in the side of it right here. And so I couldn't give it to her. There, yeah, you can just see it there now. Yeah. So anyway, so I'll print some more of these. But she got some really cool vases. So, so let's see. EQ, what's up? Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, I know. I was late. I had a birthday party to go to, and then after the birthday party, we went over to visit a friend, and then it's turned into an all-nighter kind of thing. So, sorry about that, but I'm here now, and you guys are too, so we're good. Yeah. So I just printed. I'm going to go to the other camera for a minute. I know it's going to suck, but you get a little better visibility. This camera's not near as clear, but we'll go here for a minute, then we'll go back. So fresh off the printer, I just got home, and I haven't pulled it out yet, but I'm going to pull it out right now. Wow, man, it feels like it's glued to the. Wow, boy, these magnet build plates are really, really strong. So what do we got here? This is a Chrysler 300. Now let me turn that light back on. Okay, so that's the bottom of it. And we've got some effect here, I see, on this side right here. Yeah, something happened there. I don't know what caused that. But the top side, which is the side that really matters, looks pretty good. I'll spin it around. And this looks pretty good on this side. So I'm going to do an unplating instead of an unboxing. We're going to do an unplating. So how's the kidneys? You ordered the 1700 King Twin today. Excellent airplane. Love that airplane. Very nice airplane. Good quality. Flies really good. You're going to love that. It's a good airplane. Yeah, Shadow, I hear you, boy. I'll tell you, sometimes life just gets in the way. Um, yeah, EQ had kidney stones, didn't he? Did yeah, how are you doing? I'm assuming that's who you're asking. How you doing? If I remember that right, isn't it? Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was EQ that had kidney stones. So he accomplished the Tahoe. So he's decided to spend a little money on his hobby and bought him something. There you go. Bought yourself a King Twin. All right. So this is how this works, if it works correctly. Um, so you can see the side here. There's quite a bit of um, support, and since I've done this more than once already on this kind of car, good, Eric. Glad to hear it. Glad you're doing well. Um, yes, black PLA. So the real key to these, because I did the Charger already. I did a couple of those. If you guys remember, I did this Charger, and it's too small. And when I say it's too small because there wasn't enough beef on the mirrors to keep them on. They broke off as soon as I tried to break the supports off. But this one's even bigger than the other one I did that stayed on, and so I'm pretty sure these mirrors will stay on. And what I mean by that is this peep right here, this all the way down here, and all the way down here, is only there to hold the mirror. The mirror's right here on each side, and that support is to support the mirror so it'll print the mirror. So that should all break away pretty easy. Um, so, have I tried ABS yet? I have not run ABS on these machines, these three new machines yet. Or have I? Did you know, I take the, well, I think I tried printing one of these, the Velociraptors. Um, choose how long you'll be. I'm not taking a break. What the hell is this? I got a pop-up that says I'm taking a break. I'm not taking a break. Um, so I did one of these Velociraptors in ABS. And it didn't work. And I was still trying to figure out um, how I wanted to orientate this. And I ended up orientating it upside down, like kind of like this. It was in a position about like that to print, and I didn't go back to the ABS. So yeah, I haven't done any more ABS with it yet. Oh yeah, I've done a lot of Pet G. I've done. I just did a couple more. Couple of vases today for my buddy's mom. They were done in Pet G. I've printed some Pet G. I've printed um, some new filament. I don't even remember what the hell this shit's called. It's not a PLA. It might be a special version of PLA. Let me see what it says here. What is this stuff? This is Solian. Solian. Yin. I. It's not PLA, but it's something. Maybe it's PLA AS or something like that. Not sure. It's different for sure. Yeah, I've printed with that. So far, These printers are just doing amazing. All three of them. I'm so happy with all three of these printers. They just all do their job and do them really well. Oh, you're talking about the Aero, the new lightweight Aero PLA, I think it is. So, are you talking about the trees that I break off of prints trees, or do you want me to actually print you some trees? I haven't actually printed any trees yet, but I have these takeoff trees. Let me find you one. You know, when you print something, especially like um, here's one here. When you print the Velociraptor, you end up with a tree like this. Okay, it's not really a tree, but it's called a tree because it looks like a tree, um, and it just starts on the main trunk, and then goes down and starts branching off, all to just support whatever you're printing, and it makes it what looks like a tree. So these are the only trees I've actually printed. I haven't printed an actual tree yet, but we can work on that. Oh, so the three printers I've got small, medium, large. I had an extra large. I had to send the extra large back. It didn't work. So my small is my Creality K1C. So that's the carbon version. Okay, my medium is the Anycubic Cobra S1. I do not believe it has a hard nozzle for printing uh, the abrasive materials. Now that doesn't mean it won't print it. You can print it. It just means that it's going to wear the nozzle out, and you'll if you do a lot of printing with a standard brass nozzle, you're going to have to replace it because the more that filament goes through it, the more it literally kind of files away the round tube that the filament comes out of. So after so many prints, you're going to have to replace it. So, or you can buy a hardened nozzle. And I don't know if there's a hardened nozzle available for the Anycubic. I haven't checked. I haven't printed anything hard yet. And you know, nylons and carbon fibers are hard. Those are hard ones. Apparently, although I never had problem with my Ender 3 with that kind of problem, the glow-in-the-dark stuff is supposed to be pretty abrasive. I did a lot of glow-in-the-dark stuff over the years, and I didn't notice, that was never the problem. The problem was trying to keep something on the plate. Nothing would stick to the build plate. It was a pain in the ass. So, but yeah. I've heard that too, on and off. Everybody. Listen, it's pretty much across the board, and I don't mean in the 3D printing world. I mean in the world in general. Um, you get bad customer service and good customer service depending on who you're talking to, and sometimes it's Hobby King is my best example. Years ago, Hobby King had the worst customer service because that was their policy. It wasn't an individual thing. I think a lot of times I'd be talking to someone that was on my side, but unfortunately they have to follow policy and couldn't help me. But that's all changed. Hobby King's not like that anymore. And they found out that they weren't going to stay in business if they started. Yeah, I knew what you meant, Shadow. So they changed their policy on that. So and I think my customer service from Hobby King's been fantastic. So, but yeah, and then the that's the mid one, the Anycubic Cobra S1, and then my large is the Creality K1 Max. Okay, and all three of these just print fantastic. This came off the K1 Max, and the reason I printed it on the K1 Max is you're going to get your best finish printing a car vertically. The overall best finish. You know, you can put it on its side. Your wheels are going to look really good because they'll stay rounder. But your top and bottom surfaces are your doors, right? So whatever door's against the build plate is going to have all of this like right here, all this support stuck to it that you're going to have to break off and then maybe even sand off. It might leave residue behind. And then your top surface is going to look like this, the way this looks. And I'm going to go back to the other camera so you can see what I'm talking about. So you can see here how this windshield looks pretty smooth and the hood looks pretty smooth. It doesn't look like this. Okay, you see that bullseye on the roof? See, that's what the finish is going to look like. If you have something that's flat, smooth, which is the deck lid, the roof, and the hood, and you get these rings because it doesn't want to do top flat. And you're going to get, no matter what you're printing, the very top is going to have this kind of effect. Now, yes, you can adjust it so it's much less than this. But the doors look good. Okay. They look fine. Both sides. Okay. And the grill looks good. You know, your headlights and grill came out real nice. Okay. But you got the back end's not great. It's okay, but it's not great. Okay. But this one, the back end is good because I printed it this way, you know, just sitting on its wheels. But that's why the top looks like shit, okay? Because, you know, the sides and the front, you know, the front and back are all great, but the top looks like crap. Printing it in this position this way, the only thing that's going to look bad is the tail, the back, you know, and it doesn't look that bad, but it's not going to be clean. But the rest of the car is clean. You see how the roof on here is you know, this is all support right here, but everything behind the sunroof, okay, is all, this is all support all the way down to the build plate. So this is all coming off. We're gonna be breaking this off. I'm gonna try to do it right now here gently. Okay, well, it doesn't want to come off. Well, I have to start doing some cutting to get that off. So we'll get to that in a minute. But you can see how the windshield, the hood, doesn't have any of that ringing. So, and the front end looks good. You know, the grill's there, the headlights are there, fog lamps, all that's there. So the only thing that's going to probably look not so great is the tail. So you gotta just pick and choose your poison. You know, what would you rather have? So I'd rather the tail of the car look bad and have the top surfaces look great than the other way around. You know, that's just me, but that's how I would rather. And can I adjust that? Yeah, you know, if I want to play with yeah, Eric, I don't know why you're so afraid of getting a PayPal account, but you know, you really should just do it. It's not perfect. None of them are perfect. Okay, but my experience, probably 10 years now, with PayPal has been very good. And I've never had an issue that we couldn't resolve. Okay, even when I've had an issue with PayPal, we always resolved it, and it was always a good resolve. It wasn't like I had to give up my rights, or my firstborn, or I didn't have to give up anything. They made it right. Every time they've made it right. So I'm having a little issue with PayPal right now, and I don't know exactly what the issue is. I had a credit card that is from day one when I got this card, my Horizon Hobby credit card, and it's just a Visa card, but it has Horizon Hobby on it, and if I use that card, I get, no matter what, I could go buy gasoline with it, and I get points in my Horizon Hobby account to spend on product, airplanes, whatever. And if I use it at Horizon, I get an extra. I think I get 5 points per dollar or something like that. Anyway, but I've always had trouble with this card, and now there's all these charges on there that I didn't make, and they're supposed to be investigating it. But while they're investigating it, because the things were always 4 and 1 pays, PayPal has frozen my account temporarily while they're investigating these charges. So, okay, whatever. I get it. But that's the only real issue I've had with PayPal. It's really hasn't been a big deal. Yeah, this really came out pretty good. Let me see if I can get one of these off the mirror without breaking it. The biggest thing I can tell you guys when you're doing this, baby steps. Don't try to take it all off in one piece. Just get your cutters and start cutting it, and break it into little pieces, and so that you don't end up breaking the mirror off, because that's what's happened in the past. And the mirror stock is not that great. It ain't that big, so any kind of real leverage against it will snap it off. So you gotta really be careful if you don't want to snap that off. So I'm gonna try my best here. Hang on a minute. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna trim this camera down so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. Hang on a minute. Let me go to this camera so I can repoint this camera. So we're just gonna cut off the top of my head. Okay, now we're back. All right, but now you can see the car now. Okay, and so what I'm doing is I'm chipping away at this support here for the mirror. All right, so it went all the way to the to the bottom, and I already cut it back to here, and I'm just going to keep working my way up to the mirror. I've already tried to cut it right at the mirror, and it's not doing it. So I'm just going to support it back here and just keep nipping at it. And of course, the closer I get to the mirror, the less leverage I have that would accidentally break the mirror off. And that's what I'm trying to achieve right now, is lose that leverage so I don't break the mirror off. So that's the big challenge at the moment. And I'm not very. I don't think this is going to work. I don't have a lot of faith in this. I don't think it's going to work. We'll know in a minute. I'm almost there. We're going to. Alright, now I'm going to try to go this way. So here's where I am. I got all the way to here. So we're right up to the mirror here. Now I'm going to try cutting directly into the mirror to see if I can break the support away from the mirror in little tiny chunks. it'll release the mirror. Now I printed a Bigfoot. Which is, this is part of him. Okay, so I've started printing a Bigfoot for the trophies at Bigfoot this year. I called Scott and told him. So I purposely broke his leg off. I wanted to see how good the infill support was. So I broke the leg off so I could see inside. And I broke it off because this arm didn't print. I didn't have enough support, when it was on the build plate like this. I didn't have enough support here to support the arm all the way up under his arm here. So it never printed this part of the arm. So it was a fail. Now I've since got a successful one. I did some more support modifications, and I did get a good print. It came out real nice. So these are going to be the new trophies this year at Bigfoot. So okay, so if you've been using the prepaid card at General Hobbies in the past, it might have defaulted to that, accidentally, because that's the way you've normally been paying for it. So I would say go back there, and when you go back to checkout, make sure, double check that you're clicked on pay with PayPal and not your prepaid card. And see, and if it's a prepaid card through PayPal, then once you click on the PayPal, you got to make sure it's picking the, your credit or your bank card, whatever you've got, your checking account, whatever you got it hooked to, and not the prepaid card. So just a couple of tips, things to watch out for that can, bite you when you, and I've had that issue a couple times. I accidentally had it on the wrong thing, and it didn't go through, and then I corrected it and it did go through. So trust me, they want your money. If it didn't go through, it's because there's something wrong, not because they didn't want to take it. They want your money. So you just have to kind of work with them there. So the thing the supports on the Bigfoot popped right off and left it clean. I didn't have to sand anything, or it just popped off and clean. Really nice. That's not they use the same supports. This is not really happening here. This is not coming off. Yeah, well, this is kind of tricky. Very, very tricky. Now, some of this problem could be related to the actually black filament itself, not necessarily a program or a computer. I'll show you why I say that, because this Sky Raider I printed right here, same thing. I cannot get the support to release around the fins on these bombs. I'm very delicately trying to pull that support off of the bombs. It just doesn't want to come off. The rest of it released good. Everything's clean. I didn't have to sand anything, or it came out really nice. But we're having a similar problem here. It doesn't want to let go of the mirror. So I'm very delicately trying to cut it off the mirror without actually cutting the mirror. And it's not as easy as, you know, it's harder than you think. You know, you would think it'd be really easy, but it's not. You got to really be paying attention not to cut the mirror off, or if you're trying to cut a leg off of a tree, that you're not cutting the, you know, that you are cutting the tree branch and not the leg. You know, did that once already. So there's a lot of little variables here that can bite you. So what seems to work best for me is you try to get the amount that you're trying to remove as small as possible. So the part that's actually attached to the car, in this case the mirror, is a smaller footprint. So I don't have to work so hard to get that, to manipulate that enough to break it free, because the footprint's so small. So that can be a good tool of getting this off. So getting close here. So far we're doing pretty good. You know, I haven't cut into the mirror or broke it yet. But it hasn't really released either. I'm basically cutting it nipping it right down to the mirror, and it won't let it. I can't get this stuff to break free. So that's probably a printer setting that I have to change to get this to work right. Now, I'm afraid to get too crazy. I'm afraid I'm going to break the mirror off. Boy. All right. Getting there. Alright. Alright, well that mirror's pretty well cleaned. I'll probably have to do a little sanding on it. Let me see if I can do something with the roof. Try to get this off. Let's see if we can get this off. Wiggs, what's up? How you doing, man? Wild Bill, what's up? Good to see you, buddy. All right, we got a few people dumping in here. Is that Daryl? Good to see you, buddy. Welcome to the show. I'm not sure if I've seen you here before. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you here. Yeah, Mad Max Chrysler. Yeah, well, so I told the guys earlier, but what happened was I'm late because my attorney, is a very good friend of mine. His mother turned 84, so they had a birthday party for her. And I went to the birthday party, and I printed her 9 different vases, but I broke one of them, so I only took her 8. So I was there for most of the afternoon, and then on the way home I stopped to see a buddy, and that turned into, we were just having too much fun. We were shooting pool, having fun, went out to dinner, and just didn't get back in time. So that's why I'm late. All right, now that's a weird. I think this is supposed to be a track for the sunroof, but that's not what's on the top of a 300. There's no track on the roof of the sunroof, but that's what this looks like. I don't know. We'll get a little deeper into it and see. But yeah, this definitely doesn't look right. There it goes. All right, good. All right, now it's coming off. Now I'm going to demonstrate here in a minute what we're doing here. Give me another minute. I'm trying to get the rest of this off. So you got to be careful with this, guys, when you're trying to get the support off, because what can happen is it's possible that the support is actually stuck to the car better than it's stuck to the filaments, stuck to the print. And then what happens? Uh-oh. I think my hacker's back. Let me So you're trying to pull this. You're trying to get the support off, and it actually pulls the roof panel off because it stayed stuck to the support. And then now you got a big hole in the top of the car because the support didn't let go, and it pulled the roof off. That's kind of what I have here. Came off one side. Let's see if I can peel it off this side. I think it's working. Yeah, it is. All right, so the big problem I'm having here is they literally designed this car. I have no idea why. With the file has the sunroof open, not open back, tilted up. So it printed that way, and now you see this effect on the roof because the roof is tilted right here. Let me see if I get it in the light better. No, I'm not taking a break. Oh, This is my AI crap, I guess. Wanting to take a break. I don't know what. It's never done this before. I don't know what's causing this. I don't want to break. So let me get this in this. Hang on a second. Let me get over here. Yeah, so you see these lines right here, there and there. They're coming off the sunroof here that's tilted open. And normally this is just flat, like on this one. If you look, the sunroof here is flat. Okay? I mean, it's right there, but you can see the line. But it's flat, it's not tilted. Alright? So this was printed this way. And that's why the sides look good. The back looks great. The front, you know, the back looks perfect. The front looks perfect. Okay? But the top looks like ass. Okay? So, and that's typical because it's when it's trying to do a flat surface and it's trying to do it not in like vase mode or like the first print where it's doing the first layers and it's just laying down. This is trying to do it different, and this is common to get this kind of a surface. So when you print it in this position, you don't get that. So if you look at this, there's none of the. Look at the hood. There's no ringing there. There's no ringing in the windshield. There's no ringing on the roof, but there's a couple of little white marks here, and that's just where the plastic broke away from the, you know, over here. Now that will either maybe I can scratch it off with the X-Acto knife, but at the very least I can wet sand it off and it'll disappear. Yeah, so gonna have to do some sanding on that to clear that up. But as you can see, the whole time, you know, the back window looks good. You know, the trunk lid looks great. So we don't have any of this. Okay, and the front end looks good. You know, the grill work and everything looks good. Headlights, all that details there. I don't know what the back's going to look like because all this support is the back. All right, so you got to break all of this away to see what, you know, what the back of the car is going to look like. And in general, that hasn't worked out too well. But would you rather have the back of the car not looking great or the whole top of the car not looking great? So that's where we're at with that. You got to pick your poison. You know, which way do you think it's going to give you a better result? Another thing to consider is, okay, well, maybe this way would be a better result until I clean it up, but it's going to be a lot easier to clean it up the other way, and then it'll definitely look better than that. So, you know, it's a toss-up. You just kind of figure out which way you want to go with it, try it. If it doesn't work, you print another one and try it again. You know, that's what I had to do with a couple of prints. Don't know why I got this effect. That should not have been a problem. I don't know why that did that. There's some, you see this, you know, it's not smooth here. We've got all this right here, all of this damn roughness. The rest of it's perfect. It's nice and smooth, and so I don't know why it did this. I mean, you would think the plate's not level, but you know, I do plate leveling on every print, so. And I've never had this issue before. I've never had a print come out like that, so I'm not sure what to think. Alright, so now I'm going to try to remove, just so we get a look at the wheel. Let's see if we can see what the wheel looks like. See if I can get this broke loose without cutting a spoke out of the wheel. That's probably going to be way easier said than done. get here. Jet Tech Don, what's up? Good to see you, man. Yeah, Daryl, you're right. It's a lot of support material. Unfortunately, there's a way around it, but there's pluses and minuses on everything you do. You know, so I could have gone to manual supports. So what does that mean? Well, they have a paint feature, and I could have just, you know, got the plate upside down so I could get to it, and then taken my little marker pen on the screen and go over and mark where I want support, like just on the face of the mirror, nothing more. Just you know, right here at the where the windows popped up, right, just right there, tapering into the roof, and that's it. And you make those fine ass changes, and then you slice it, and it'll tell you if it's going to work or not. And you may have more or less cleanup after. That's kind of the way it works. So you got to kind of gauge: do I want to? Would I rather it come out smooth, or and have to work on this little area, but it's going to be hard to get to, or I can go with the big area and it'll be a little more work, but it'll be a easier job to get it cleared, to get it cleaned up and look good. And yeah, that's just what you got to do to, um, pick and choose your support here. So I hate using supports. I don't use them often, but anything with an overhang. A perfect example is the Godzilla. Where'd it go? This is one of the easiest ways to describe. So here's the problem. All right, it's on the build plate, like this. All right, it prints in layers, so it's going across like this, and it's printing, and it keeps, this keeps dropping down. The print head doesn't go up and down. It just goes back and forth. It's what they call a core machine. XY is moving like this, but it's printing, right? Printing, printing, printing. It gets to the hand. It wants to print there, so it extrudes filament there, but there's nothing for it to stick to. So because none of this is here, it hasn't been printed yet. So what happens? It just falls off like a drip of goo. And when it comes back around, same thing. It's going to try to print there, and there's nothing there, so it can't print. So you need a support under here. Okay, just some throwaway piece of material there, so that when it comes by, it can extrude its filament. It sticks to whatever you've got sitting here. More than likely, you've got just support material, and it'll stick to this gently and hold it, so that the next pass, the new pass will go right on top of this semi-stuck pass, and then going from there, it creates a good strong arm that when you're finished will work just fine, and then you can break the support off. So that's kind of how that works. Now, I've had this problem before with the black, and this I think is just a filament problem. It's just holding on way too good. You're trying to clear it from the rest of the model, and it just doesn't want to let go. So that's not a good thing. I'm not sure if that took the spoke out or not. I think it might have. So this is one of the tricky parts, because got a lot of support around this wheel, but the wheel has very small spokes. So if I start digging too hard, prying too hard, it's going to pull the spoke out of the wheel instead of letting the filament release from the spoke. And that's a bad day. Then you got to start over. So we're going to try not to let that happen. Fred! What's up? How you doing, man? You leaving, Wiggs? All right, buddy. Have a good night. Yeah, I'm not going to stay up late tonight either. This is... I've had a busy, busy, busy day. I was up all night printing those vases for the party, and I got a little bit of sleep, but not enough. And I'm supposed to go flying tomorrow. Um, so I'm not going to do this too late tonight. So this is the part I really hate. When I'm working on something as delicate as this damn spoke on the wheel and trying to pull filament off of it, what a pain in the ass that is. It really is. This makes the job pretty damn difficult. You just don't know how hard you can pull, you know. And, you know, is it gonna release? Am I gonna get it off, or is it gonna pull the spoke out of the wheel? You never know until it happens, and then it's either, you know, a win or a catastrophic loss. So I really don't know why. I can suspect. I can guess. I can. Yeah. Boy. Yeah, I was really hoping to get something uncovered so you can see. Let me see if I can dig any of the back out and see if that looks all right. Wow. This is going to need a whole lot of cleanup with a file and some sandpaper after this is gone. This is just not working out well at all. The support's sticking way too good. Again, it was a trade-off. I was either have weaker walls on the vase I was printing, or have to fight trying to get this to release from the actual car, to separate the support from the car. So it's just the trade-off you have to deal with. So, Urban Legend, what's up? How you doing, man? God, I wish I wasn't so tired tonight, guys, so I could stay on here later. I'm not leaving right now, but yeah, I'm not going to be here all night either. I'm pretty tired. I need to get some very, very, very much needed beauty sleep. So this has a molded wing on the back, so I'm assuming, and yes, I know how to spell assume, that this is an SRT8 300, because it's got a wing on the back. So not the exact correct one, but if you're a creator, sometimes you got to take you know, artist, what do they call it, artist interpretation, or artist privilege. You got to make some changes for the good of the whole model. You know, you have to kind of bugger up one little thing so you don't have to bugger up a whole bunch of big things. You know, sometimes that's the better payoff. Yeah, this is the craziest support here. I have no idea why they made the support here like this. This is kind of goofy. So the other thing with support, so you only have so many choices. You know, you can't just pick a random spot and then nothing around it. You know, sometimes that works, but most of the time that's not going to work. It wants to remove similar area. In other words, this big plate here, this was on the roof, you know, connected to the sunroof. It's not going to understand why I only want to remove this one little dot, you know, anywhere on here, instead of the whole thing when the dot is identical to the whole thing. So why wouldn't you just want to get rid of the whole damn thing? And that's a very legitimate question. So, you know, why would you want to do that? I can't think of a reason. I just want it off the car, so I would you know, proceed to tear it off the car somehow. So I'm getting some very weird support here. Very weird. These look like, they don't look like car wheels. They look like almost like steam engine. And I don't mean train engines. I'm talking about a steam engine that's in a car back in the 1800s that would power the car down the road. And I'm assuming that the first iterations probably didn't think about, hey, how do we stop this thing? And they need brakes. Probably hadn't contemplating that far ahead yet. You know, they've been doing everything up to this point, and it's all been going swimmingly. So they're gonna, you know, they don't want to put a, you know, restriction on how long you can be up there and really slow down production. So they're just not going to allow that part of it. Let me see if I can get a little more of this out here. This might have been the caliper I'm pulling off. Can't tell. All right, I'll get back to the chat here. So what's really going on is I'm falling asleep. I'm that tired. So let me get back to the chat here and wake me up a little bit. Yeah, I like using the auto support too, Bill. That's what this was. This was auto support. The reason this is probably the problem on this one is I don't think I reset the. All right, I got to get a vase to explain. So hang on a second. Let me grab a vase. Okay, so when you're printing a regular print, okay, it doesn't print like this. Okay, it prints back and forth like this, and so what it's going to do is it's going to print, you know, like going across here, it's going to print it, print stop, print stop, print stop, print stop, until it goes all the way across all of these, and then as it's slicing through, it's going to be print print, and then go all the way across, and then print print. In the middle section, print 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 print, and it's going to keep doing that, you know, and filling in the little bit in the middle, um, and and it's going to start the next layer and probably turn it 90 degrees and do the next layer and then back and forth, and that's a normal print. Okay, and you can change the wall thickness thicker if you want. You can, you know, there's a lot of things you do. When you put it in vase mode, it won't. You don't have the option to put 1, 2, 3, 4 loops, layers. You know, you don't have any, it takes all that away. You know, because it's going to print like this, and it's just going to keep coming up. Well, this is going to keep going down as it prints, and this is just going to keep going around nonstop. Never stops, just goes around. And what happens, and of course here, because of these flutes here, it's not circling, it's doing this as it goes around, okay? And it's printing every one of those little those little, you know, edges, but it just keeps going around continuously and never stops. So you go into the filament, not into the printer itself. You go into the filament you're using, and then you go down to flow, and you increase the flow from probably normal is usually 0.75. You know, it could be 0.95, but it's usually 0.75, 0.95. And you can bump that up. Now, what does that do? Since a vase in vase mode is only making one pass, it's not doing 2 loops, 3 loops, inside, outside. It just goes one pass and then up to the next level, and you know, and it just keeps rolling. So you can't add 2 or 3, 4, whatever, you know, wall thickness. You can't do that. You get 1. And so it defaults to 1. It takes away supports. It does all this stuff automatically. So how am I going to get this thicker? Well, you increase the flow to 1.2 seems to be good. Now it's going to tell you, it doesn't going to recommend that. It's going to slow the print down. It's too much. Can't calibrate. Blah 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 blah. Works fine. 1.2 works fine. So far, it's worked great on everything. So since there's all that extra filament coming out as it's doing the exact same, you know, motion, you got a piece of you got one this size, and then they got this bigger one. Okay, well, the bigger one is going to squash. Okay, so when it goes around the head, you know, it's going to squash it like that. And see, now it got wider. Well, that increases the thickness of the wall in a different way. Instead of adding layers, you're adding squash because you put more filament there, and now it's going to squash it down, and that spreads it out and makes the wall thicker. So this thing is very, very tough. This is not, you know, the normal 0.95 or 0.75. This is very squishy. You know, these fluting here just, you know, go in and out like a stack of cards, like they're just, you know, or a bellows. You know, it's trying to, but this is really hard. It will do the bellows kind of effect slightly, very slightly, but it's a very hard, you know. So that's how you increase your thickness of your walls on a base to get a stronger print. So what's the problem with the car? Well, I took the vase mode out, but I didn't change. I don't think I changed the one. I don't think I changed the flow back to stock flow, and so it over extruded. And when it did that, it's squashing the support material into the car, you know, into the main car, and it's sticking too well. What happens then is it's too attached to the car because you increase the flow of the filament and it squashed it deeper, harder into the actual part of the car you want, and now it's a bitch to tear it off, you know, to try to pull it away from. And it normally will come off. Not every time. Sometimes you end up ruining it. You know, it takes away You got to be very careful, take it slow, but you know, usually you can get it to release. But I've had plenty of times when it didn't, and I ended up, you know, cutting a spoke out of a wheel, or which is I just about did right there, I think. I don't know if that was a support or not. So yeah, you just have to be very, very careful. Take your time, be careful, see if you can't, you know, get in here and cut this out. And I'm randomizing around a little bit because I'm not going to do this whole car on camera, and I'm just trying to show you guys a little sample of what it looks like when you get, you know, the extra support material off of the wheel. You got to be very careful because you can. This stuff is stuck so well that instead of the support, you know, releasing from the wheel, it just pulls two layer lines of the wheel, the actual wheel, and it just pulls those layer lines apart, and then it destroys your print. So you got to be very careful. Victor, what's up? Good to see you, man. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to be very gentle and very precise, and see if I can't get this support material to release from the wheel without damaging the wheel. Wow. All right. So let me get this back so I can see the spoke here. Hopefully I'm not tearing out the spoke. I think they were talking about putting settings into the slicer so you can adjust the air gap um, between the print and the support, which would be very helpful if they would come out with that. I don't know if they are or not, but that'd be a great thing to come up with to make this so much better. You know, easier to remove your. Yeah, see, something's going on here. I think I'm gonna end up tearing that spoke off the wheel. Just can't seem to get it quite right. Okay. Yeah, better look at this. Let me get my reading glasses out. See if I can see any better. I think that's a sport right there. I can pull that out. I'm just trying to get to the to the wheel of this spoke here, so I can show you how this works. But man, it just doesn't want to let go. Well, I think we're going to stop right here for tonight on this. Alright, so if you look at this front wheel here, let me get the light right. You see the support came all the way to here, right? And it overhangs the front of the wheel here. Okay? So now I'm going to turn it around and show you that what I've been doing is digging. So I dug that support off the wheel right here. So now the rim is exposed. And there's a couple little white lines on it. That's just the plastic when you pull it apart. But so I've got some of this edge off of here, getting it released. But it's a bugger. And these spoke wheels are really hard to deal with. And then if you just got here, I got this. You can see there's support here, right here. This is what was this went all the way to the table, and that's what's holding the mirror on when it printed. So you can see I cut it off this side already. The mirror's here, but all the support's gone now. I cut all that off. So, and this still has a lot of work. It's not right, but it's there, and it looks like a mirror. So it's still pretty good, even though there's a lot of work. You have to clean it up. It looks pretty good. I mean, it's obvious that that's a mirror, and it looks pretty good. So let me try this again here real quick. So I'm trying to get this piece off so I have less I don't want all that leverage on the mirror because I'm afraid I'm going to accidentally break it off. So let me see if I can get in here and pull this off. All right. Okay, that's good enough. All right, so now I got the other mirror off, or the other support off, and I've got two good mirrors. Okay, they're right here. They're on. They need a little dressing up, but it's definitely a mirror. It looks like a mirror. Quacks like a mirror. So it must be a mirror. Yeah. So, all right. So anyway, so this is looking pretty good. Here's the back support here. look at the back of the car, and then if we move that out of the way, you can see that this is perfectly smooth. It's in good shape. So we're not going to end up with, this. Okay, that terrible looking top surface. We got a very smooth, good looking top surface. This will clean off. Actually, if I just wipe it with my finger wet, it almost disappears. But it's going to come back. But we can address that. It's pretty smooth. It just needs a little little sanding, little touch up work. It'll be fine. So now this appears to be. I guess this was supposed to be support. Yeah, it is. So here's the bottom of the car, and this is all support. All right. Now I'm going to tear this off. Okay, now you can see I just cleared all of this area right here of the support. Okay, and this is nice and smooth, and the whole bottom of the car. So all this support is real flimsy crap. It's got to come off. And here, I'll try pulling this off right in front of you here. There it goes. Alright, so now that much of it came off. So now this is all. We still have a little bit more support here, back here to do, and some up front here to do. But so that's how that works. Alright. So this is coming out pretty good. This looks pretty good. I think I'm going to print another one because this one needed to be black because my attorney drives a black SRT8, but my other buddy drives a silver SRT8. So I think I'll turn the flow back down on this to print the silver one, and then we'll see how these supports come off of that one. I think they're going to come off a whole lot easier. Try to get some of this off the spoiler here without screwing it up. Alright. Alright, we're going to stop right there. Just to show you. Okay, so this is the last part we're going to do tonight. We're going to move on to airplanes, but you can see right here. I know it's going to be hard to see. Okay, so there's a spoiler. This is the trunk lid, and then there's a spoiler on the trunk lid right there. And now the support's missing. I pulled all this support off. But if you look over here, you see this is all support. This big rectangular piece right here. So I haven't pulled that off yet, but I've got this off, and this is cleaning up pretty nice. So anyway, yeah, overall this is a pretty decent print. It looks pretty good. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get the wheels cleared out without ruining them, but we'll give it a shot. But not tonight. We're gonna take a break from that. All right. Let me get back to the chat. If you guys ask me any questions, ask them again because I can't concentrate on pulling filament off the support off the car and read the chat at the same time. So if you ask me a question I missed it, ask it again. I don't want to scroll back up, guys. Sometimes it's not worth the trouble. Sometimes just ask the question again. It's much easier that way. So Jack Tet Don, we got Victor, we got Fred, we got EQ, Eric, and Shadow Ops. We got who else? There's a couple others. Fred, Wild Bill, Yeah. Who else? Oh yeah, Wigs, Urban Legend. Yeah, I think that's got everybody. Anyway, so let's see. Last weekend was Fourth. We had a big fly-in at our field on Friday. Um, we had quite a few people actually. It was a pretty busy day. We had a lot of people, a lot of pilots, but we had some winds, so we didn't have a lot of flying. I did a lot of flying, but a lot of guys didn't do a lot of flying. You know, they think the wind's a problem, and they don't want to put an airplane here. But I flew a lot of stuff. I got to tell you, the thing that impressed me the most about this weekend is how many people approached me about the new Hobby King Super Tucano. Man, I had more people coming up wanting to look at that plane, love the plane, they love the way it flew. It looks so good in the air. It looks real. You know, it's the scaleness of it. Just a lot of people were talking about that airplane. You know, what is it? Where'd you get it? Got more attention than anything else I was flying, and I flew that. I flew the Flex RV8. I flew the twin the X Fly Twin Otter. It's a 1800 millimeter, I believe. I flew that. I flew my Viper Jet, the Horizon Hobby Viper Jet. Flew that. Um, let's see what else. Let's see. Oh, I flew. I'm going through the rack. What planes I took out of the rack. Um, Flew the Flex Twin Otter. Flew that. So I had two Twin Otters out there, the 1800 and then the 2300. Um, so flew both of those, and yeah, it was a pretty good day. Um, but yeah, the and I was going to get the other. I had both Tucanos with me, but I didn't get a chance to get the other one out. Um, Not everything went smoothly. Same thing last year, and we had it under control. And then one of the guys decided, what happened last year. The road coming into the place crosses the runway, and it's not a problem when a car's driving through, but we don't want anybody to park there, and that's what happened last year. A bunch of people, and especially people that knew better, parked right on the runway. Okay, and then the road coming in, they pulled into it splits right there, and they pull into that little diamond in between the split where the road goes and park there, and that's the runway. It goes right across there, and even though we don't land on that part of the runway, we come in low over that part of the runway. So if there's a car there, we're going to hit the car. If there's a person standing there, we're going to hit the person. So this year they had that roped off, so nobody would park there. It was great until after lunch or our early dinner. And then somebody got the great idea to go out there and take the stakes down, and then everybody moved their cars right into the parking, right into the runway, and people were literally walking out on the runway from there. So now we got people on the runway, and I'm like, oh god, it's so aggravating. Okay, so yeah, my hacker's back again. So let me see if I can fix this now. I don't know what happened here. Uh, oh, crap. No, that's not what I wanted it to do. Let's go back. So while this is recovering, I'll keep talking. So yeah, anyway, So I got pretty upset about that. I got, guys. If you've never um, hurt somebody with an airplane, it's pretty hard to get over. Okay, I've been doing this for 52 years, and I've only hurt a couple of people over those years. Um, but the worst one was probably about 5 years ago. I literally cut part of a guy's ear off with my airplane. And, it was my fault. I mean, he was on the runway looking for a part of his airplane, and I should have just stayed clear of that area. And I didn't. I kept flying my normal, and he was bent down. I didn't see him. And then he stood up, and right when my plane was coming by, and it caught him right in the head, and it actually sliced part of his ear off. It was a nice clean slice. Um, and he was going to have a plastic surgeon fix it, but he's decided that it's not worth it. Not a big piece of his ear. It's, listen, it doesn't matter. I still have to live with the fact that I caused this man bodily harm and disfiguration. So it's a very hard thing to deal with when this happens. And it can happen to anybody. And, so I'm very particular when people are on the runway. I don't want them on the runway. They need to get the hell off the runway. I don't need anybody else when I'm flying out there. So I got pretty upset when there were, kids and parents walking out onto the runway. I mean, common sense, folks. It's an active runway. Why are you on it? Why are you standing on the runway? But anyway. So I hope none of you guys ever have to go through that. It's a horrible thing to realize that you've just hurt one of your friends. And he says, don't worry about it, and it's so easy to say that. Oh, it's not that big a deal. I know you didn't do it on purpose. Don't worry about it. I'm okay. And that's fine. But then, like 2 years later, we meet up at a different flying field, and he's got new buddies there. And then he has to tell his buddies how I hurt him, and he's kidding around, but, you have to wonder. And I'm going to, for the rest of my life, I'm going to be wondering, is he really kidding? Is he really mad? He doesn't seem mad, and it's a horrible, horrible thing to go through. So I hope none of you guys ever have to do that, and it's kind of a permanent, mutilation of him. It could easily be fixed if he wanted a plastic surgeon to fix it. He doesn't seem to mind, but at the same time, he sure makes a point of telling everybody that I did it, and he, in a kiddingly way. But anyway, I'm not mad at him at all. Listen, he's a very nice friend of mine. I really love this guy, and he's a real pilot. He just retired. He hit 65, had to retire. And a great guy, great pilot, RC pilot too, and I really enjoy flying with him. But I have to live with the fact that I've injured him, and it so far it's a permanent injury. Let me kill this microphone here. There we go. Okay. So anyway, so that's why I get so upset when things don't go right, especially when they've got. I'm starting to look like Geppetto working on Pinocchio. Yeah, maybe. So anyway, but that was really, that, and I was up all night getting ready to go fly because I'm so bad at this. Guys, I hate packing to go somewhere. It's just not. I'm never ready, and it's not that I wait till the last minute. I've tried to start 2 or 3 days early, but I never seem to get done. I got to get this in the plane and get this in the trailer, get this out of the trailer. Oh, this needs a quick repair. Let me repair that real fast so I can fly that plane, and it just snowballs to the point where it's time for me to be at the field, and I'm still farting around loading the damn trailer. So I get there late, and it's just aggravating. It upsets me when that happens. So and then I was up all night doing that. When I finally left, I left early in the morning. I got to the field in time. I wasn't late, but I was up all night. So now I'm dead tired, and so I ended up falling asleep at the field. Not flying an airplane, thank God. This time I did that once too. Um, but yeah, I between a few of the flights, I sat down in my chair and I fell asleep for 20, 30 minutes. I'm not sure how long exactly, but I did that once too. But yeah, so yeah, thank you, Juno. And I do. I try to forget it. I try to let it go and try to get past it. And I for the most part I do, until I go out to the field and he starts telling all of his friends again. Oh yeah. He hit me with his airplane and cut. Look, he cut my ear off. And then the feelings all come back again. So I've been trying to let it go, and I know he's not doing it to hurt me at all. That's not his goal. He's trying to make light of it. He's just trying to make a joke out of it. But when you're the guy that did it, it hurts. So you have So yeah, but I'm trying to forget it, trying to deal with it, and I am. But you know, it is what it is. But hopefully you'll never have to deal with that. Hopefully you'll never injure somebody with your airplane and then have to think about it for the rest of your life. Yeah, Fred. Sometimes and the older I get, the more napping I need. you know? So, but yeah, you know. So I was trying to bring airplanes out to the field that I could take people up in. Teach. If there was some no newbies there that wanted to, try out. You know, and so I try to pack those. And I try to pack a variety of airplanes because we get a lot of during one of these big events we have, and it's free. We have all this food, and he probably buys, I'm not kidding, at least $10,000 worth of fireworks every year. um, we get a lot of people that come out, just neighbors, because he puts it on Facebook and they look for it every year, because they know he's going to make the big cookout and everything, and then all these people show up. And so I try to put on a show for them. um, we are gray now, Kenny. What does that mean, Victor? What are you gray? Why are you gray? What's going on? Is this thing not working? What happened? um, so yeah, and a couple of years ago, I took people. I made them sit in a chair because you put goggles on them. Old. Oh, I got it. The gray-haired old. I got you. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got you, Victor. Yeah, but a little Grecian formula, a little hair dye. I'll look young again. Wait and see, because I'm going to do it. Anyway, not because it's more of a joke than anything else. I'm just kind of screwing with somebody. But anyway, um, so so I try to take a variety of stuff. I had people. I put them in the chair. I put the goggles on them. I've got an extra set of goggles. I put mine on. I give them the crappy ones first to get them immersed into watching the plane from, being in the plane, and then I put the Mac Daddy wide view, you know, cinema version glasses on them and let them really see. And I put the other ones on and fly with them, and then they get they get quite an experience. So, but anyway, so I try to put out enough stuff with me, bring enough stuff with me to have a good day and put on a little bit of a show. And And I'm just not good at it. You know, I never get everything packed. I never have it ready to go, and I'm always trying to get that last. You know, why can't I just say, "Oh, good enough. We don't need to take anymore. Let's just go." And I just can't seem to get there. So, so I'm always, still, but I wasn't late again, but I wasn't, I was up all night and I wanted to be there earlier than I got there. I got there, I think, about 7:30, um, but I really wanted to get there about 4:30. I wanted to get there about 4:30 and take a nap in the car, and then I was going to set up, get the batteries charging, and everything, and then get in the car and just sleep until the batteries were charged. That's a good 30, 40 minutes. That was the plan. Didn't happen. Went straight to getting the batteries charged, getting everything set up, start flying, and then when I took a break and sat down in the chair, I fell asleep. So anyway, it was a good day though. It was fun. We had a good day. I think I'm going flying tomorrow. One of the Mike, the guy, one of my guys I fly with, we do a lot of formation flying, and he's very good at it. I've tried to do it with Lewis and Tony, and Lewis is not very good at it. And it's not that he couldn't be. His problem is he won't trust his batteries. He won't trust his telemetry, and they like to fly fast. So if you've got that much load on the airplane, you start getting battery call outs 2 3 minutes into the flight. Instead of throttling back and let the call outs go away, but he, even when he does that, he still doesn't trust the battery and he lands. So we're just getting into the rhythm of flying in formation good, and he has to land because he's worried he's going to run out of battery. Tony, on the other hand, is, and this has been going on for a good 6 years now. I've finally got Tony to trust it, and now Tony tries to outfly me. I got a 9-minute flight going on, and he's still flying with me, and I have to keep reminding him. 6 years ago, you were telling me that was impossible. That it's just not. It's impossible. You can't fly that long. You're doing something. It's impossible. So I like to remind him of that. Remember when you kept telling me it was impossible, and now you're doing it? And he just laughs. But so Tony and I get into a better rhythm quicker because he stays in the air longer, and Lewis, he just gets going with us, and then he has to land because his batteries are giving him a warning because he's trying to go too fast, and he won't trust his telemetry, and so. But Mike's really good. We get together right on takeoff. He hangs right with me. He doesn't get nervous if we get close. He doesn't start up and down and like this, and you're going to have a midair every time when you do that. Just fly. Don't. If you start to get close, just move the stick so that you see more daylight between your planes. Whether you have to go up or you have to go down a little bit, just give it a very gentle, and just try to increase that gap a little bit, and to get it that safer, And but yeah, that's and he does that very well. So me and Mike have a really good time flying in formation. And we generally come right across the field at the same time, right together. Low. Usually I'm lower than him. I'm more comfortable right on the deck. So I'm down on the deck, and he's, maybe 20 feet up. And it varies. Sometimes I'm a little higher, sometimes he's a little lower. Sometimes we're closer, but we're together usually, coming by. We're really close together, either dead on even, or he's back a little, or I'm back a little, but, and it puts on a nice show. People enjoy watching it. We enjoy flying it. It's a lot of fun. And so I think we're flying tomorrow. Pretty sure. I hope he left me a message. But I've been busy all day. I didn't have a chance to check my phone. I saw the call, but I didn't check to see if he gave me a message or not. So that we might have a tea time tomorrow. That's a takeoff time, not golf. We might have a takeoff time tomorrow. I don't know. So I'll check that later. So what else is going on? Got another one of my airplanes. I ordered 3 airplanes when FMS had that big sale, $120 off on each airplane. So I had the 1400 T-28 the 1400 F4U Corsair and the 1400 P40 uh, um, Warhawk. So I got the T28, which I was going to do an unboxing tonight. I could still do that. We might do that. I'm getting a second wind now. We might just do that. We might do an unboxing. Because I'm not going to build the T28 because I already have one built. It's broken, but I can fix it. It's an easy fix. I have a P40, not the P40. I haven't gotten the P40 yet. Still waiting on that one. I've never had the P40, not the 1400 size one. I have a 2-meter P40 that I love, but I've never had the 1400 size one. So I'm looking forward to that. I do have the 1400 size Corsair, and it's the exact same airplane. It's an FMS airplane, but the paint scheme's a little bit different. This is the Red Bull, the one I've had all these years, is the Red Bull F4U Corsair. So it's got a little bit different. It's the same color blue, but it's got a little different livery on it. Plus the Red Bull sticker, the Red Bull and with the words Red Bull. And I don't want to fly that one anymore because I can't replace it, and it's got some damage on it. I want to just get it all fixed, 100% back, perfect looking, and then just hang it up. I don't want to fly that one anymore because I can't replace it, and I don't want to. I've flown it for years and years and years, and it's gotten some minor. Hey, if you fly them, they're going to get damage on them. I do more damage to the plane putting it in and out of the car or getting it in and out of the garage than I ever do flying it. But yet, nonetheless, it gets damaged. So I want to get that all pretty back up, nice and good looking, and then I don't want to fly it anymore. So I bought another one to fly. So this one I'm going to fly. I'm going to stop flying the Red Bull version, and so I bought that one. So those are the two I have. I need to do an unboxing just to make sure there's nothing wrong with them. No damage in shipping, no damage when they put it in the box, which I've gotten plenty of that before. Just so I can, if I have to call a warranty in, I can do that. So we might do that tonight. I'll see. Let's see, what else? Anything new, exciting going on? Well, I've got some more new exciting, since I'm branching out my, we're doing 3D printing now, and we're doing, and I'm also doing full-size car stuff now. I'm going to be doing a lot more full-size car stuff coming up, guys. I bought a few more cars. I don't know who remembers what happened or what I bought, but I'll tell it quickly here. I'm not going to get into all the details of it, but I was on Marketplace. Been in love with the Dodge Charger, the 06 Dodge Charger, the 06 300, which is what I printed here, and the 06 Magnum, the station wagon. The three cars that are what they are E-Class Mercedes-Benz. When, back in 06, nobody was making rear-wheel drive cars. I mean, there was the Mustang, but Chevy didn't have anything rear-wheel drive in 06. Oldsmobile was gone. Pontiac was gone. Buick didn't have anything rear-wheel drive. Cadillac had the CTS V and the CTS and the CTS V. That's the only thing Cadillac had that was rear-wheel drive. So it was, when they came out with these new E-Class Mercedes / Chrysler, the Chrysler Daimler merge, it was huge. I mean, they were good-looking cars. They were fast. They had Hemis in them, especially the SRT8 versions. And, it was a big deal. I was excited. Never owned a Dodge before in my life. Got excited. Was going to buy one. Couldn't afford it. I wanted a Daytona. Yeah, okay. That's not a bad idea, Fred. Maybe I'll do the unboxing next week, or maybe I'll just do it, as a video and just put it up and let everybody watch it. It's kind of late tonight. I don't know if I want to start an unboxing tonight. It's almost 1 in the morning here. But anyway, so back then it was $33,000 for the in '06. $33,000 for a Dodge Daytona. And if you wanted the Super B, which was the SRT8 version with the 6.1 Hemi in it, it was anywhere from 51 to 54,000. That was way out of my price range, way out of my price range. And so I never like gave up on the car, but I haven't been doing an active search for it. I've done a passive search. Hey, if I'm on Marketplace, I'll kind of scan around a little bit, see if, you know. And they've been holding their value pretty well until all of a sudden the bottom dropped out, and I have no idea why. But right now, you can buy these cars dirt cheap. And so I bought a very nice condition. I mean, it's practically perfect. It's a very, very clean car. Has a brand new motor in it. He had the Dodge dealer do a factory refreshed, rebuild Hemi and had it put in the car. The car runs so good, super strong. It's only got 6,000 miles on the new motor, and I bought the car for $6,000. Now this is a full-size 4-door, working air conditioning, everything works, for $6,000. The car was originally $33,000. So, super happy. God, man, I'm telling you, it just blew my mind that I got this car. Then a Dodge Magnum came up, which is the same car underneath, slightly different on top looking, but it's a station wagon. And one of those came up, brand new paint, new wheels, new tires, everything was just worked on, and the motor blew up, and the guy bought it from another guy, and then he never fixed it. He tore it down, and then he never did anything with it. It's been sitting in his yard for 7 years. He put it up for $500. Well, he put it up for $750. I offered him $500, and he took it. So I bought that. I can rebuild the motor. So not right now. It's not a project for right now. Listen, it can sit in my yard for years if it's going to sit in his yard for years. So that's not a problem. It's my car now, so I'll when I get time, I'll get to that. But not right now. So I got a Magnum now. So I got the Daytona. I got a Magnum. Well, then, and obviously I was meant to get these cars because I just happen to be looking when they go live, and they haven't been on there long enough for somebody else to, get excited over it. So a '07 Dodge Super B, which is the SRT8 version of the Dodge Daytona, pops up, and the guy wants $5,000 for it, and I'm like, yeah, it's exactly, Fred. It's like the STS V. They had an STS, which is just your standard everyday, Cadillac, and then they came out with the V version. So that's the Daytona, or the Charger RT Daytona package, and then the SRT8 Super B package. 33,000, and then it jumped up to 55,000. So, 54,000. So anyway, so I got the Super B. The guy, I called. Well, I texted him, hey, is this a flood car? Salvage title? What's the story? Why is it only $5,000? Why is it only $5,000? Oh, the training's got a problem and it needs paint. Well, I'm looking at these pictures and it looks great. I'm like, okay, it must be most cars for people my size, short guys, they don't wax their roofs because they can't reach it. And instead of getting a stool out like I do and wax my roof, people don't wax their roofs. So where's the paint go bad? On the roof, over and over. I don't know how many, you've probably seen hundreds of cars on the road and wonder why do their roofs look so bad? Well, that's why, because they don't wax them because they can't reach them. And they don't want to go get a ladder or a step stool or whatever. So they don't do it, and then the paint, burns off, especially in Florida. So I'm like, okay, well, all right, I'm going to come look at it. This one's really close. I had to go quite a distance to get the Daytona. I had to go even farther to get the Magnum. But the Super B was right up the street. It was, a very easy 20-minute drive Could have been there in 12 if I wanted to, you know, hot rod a little bit, but very close, you know, not far away. So I just got in the Daytona and I drove up there. And, you know, my Daytona's yellow, the Super B's yellow. He bought a replacement car for the Super B. He bought a 392 Charger, a new one, like a 1920 vintage, in yellow. So we got 3 Dodge Chargers sitting in the driveway yellow. So he's all excited. He jumps all over me. I had the same car. I just sold it to buy the Super B, you know. And okay. And so he's all excited, you know. And I'm, you know, looking at the car, and the interior's in great shape. Overall, the sides of the paint car is in great shape. I think the trunk lid's even in good shape. The roof and the hood look pretty bad, but not horrible. But, you know, it needs painted. But car starts right up. The engine runs good. No knocking, nothing. It's got a bad tranny. It won't. You know. Well, we didn't try to drive it. I just assumed it didn't drive because he wouldn't tell. You know, he didn't tell me that. And so I said, you know, all right. Well, I'm really interested. You know, have you got any room to move on it? And I'm just asking. I was willing to pay the 5, but you know, doesn't hurt to ask. And he says, yeah. He says, I'll take 4. Deal. I didn't even balk. Deal. I'm gonna go get you the money right now. I'll be back today. I gotta go home and get the Magnum I just bought. I told him that story. I gotta get that off the trailer. I gotta go to my bank and get the money. So I'll be back today. It may be a little later. I'll call you. He says, okay, fine. So and that's exactly what I did. I went to the bank. I got the money. Got the trailer. Got the Magnum off the trailer. Went and got the car. Brought it home. So now I've got this beautiful yellow Super B. I put tranny fluid in it. For you guys that don't own Dodges, don't know what Dodge's policies are or whatever. I don't know if it's a policy or whatever, but they pretty much brainwash you into believing that their transmissions don't need serviced. You don't need to check the oil in it. You don't have it rebuilt. It's a lifetime transmission. Yeah, right. So they don't even give you a dipstick. The dipstick tube has a plug in it, and the plug says right on it, non-serviceable. You know, you're not supposed to take that out. You know, now they'll sell you a dipstick, but they don't call it a dipstick. It's a tool. Okay, this is a calibration tool. They call it. It's not a dipstick. It's a dipstick, but they don't sell it as a dipstick. They sell it as a tool. So I bought one of those when I bought my old Charger back when I was working at Allstate. And so I have the dipstick tool. I haven't used it yet. I'm getting to that. But so I get the car home. It's been here a couple days. I haven't looked at it really. Charged the battery. The battery was low. I charged the battery and everything. So okay, let's go buy some tranny fluid. Let's put some tranny fluid and see what happens. All right. So I put some tranny fluid in it. Started up. Goes right into gear. Forward, reverse. Backed it right off the trailer. Car drives. So I bought a running driving, cold AC, interior's in great shape car for $4,000 that goes for 25, 30 grand all day long because it's a Super B. Now mine's not going to bring that kind of money yet, but if I put a few dollars in it, I'm only in it for 4. I got a guy that'll paint it for 3. That's 7. If the tranny needs reserviced, the most I'd pay for that is another 3. So I'd have 10 grand in the car and sell it for 20. You know, so it wouldn't be hard to, you know, it wouldn't be hard to double my money on that car. So, not sure that's where I'm going with it, and I'm not going to do it right now. Got to get the building done first. Got to get the apartment done, all that. Get my new lift. I'm buying a lift. I got to put the lift in. So all that's coming first. So I'm not working on the car. But I have it. It's mine. I own it. So, so that's exciting news. I'm real excited, guys. You know, I've wanted these cars for a long time, and now, you know, and I never thought I'd get both, and now I have both. You know, a Super B and a Daytona. So pretty stoked about that. And you've seen on the channel, I've had my diecast, my RC versions of it on here. So, you know, I'm kind of into these cars. I don't know why I'm burping all of a sudden. All right, so let me go back to my studio for a second. That's not it. Where'd it go? Oh, it closed. Oh, great. Am I still live? Oh, wait a minute. Maybe this is it. All right, computer. Stop screwing with me here. Okay, yeah, I'm still here. It's just, I don't know what happened here. I don't know why this went to Gigundo. It doesn't make any sense. How did I fix this the last time? I forget. I can't even get to the... Yeah, I can't get to the controls to even fix it, I don't think. Let me... No, that's not what I want to do. Um, Tag nabbit. Okay, all right, wait a minute. We're making progress here. We got somewhere. I can read the chat again. Still can't see what's going on over here, but at least I got the chat open. Um, all right, so what are we? What happened? What am I talking about here? So Victor's, is can I scroll this? I think I don't know what I can do. This looks old. All right, let me go back to the chat that you're in. I can see that. Um, yeah. So anyway, so I'm excited about the cars. That's and I'm going to be doing a lot of car work. Um, got mechanics today don't know how to fix cars. All my friends are coming to me constantly. They took their car here, they screwed it all up. They didn't know what they're doing. They had the car for weeks. They lost parts. It's just I'm getting like bombarded with people wanting me to fix their cars, and I keep telling them, listen, I don't have time right now. I've already got two other cars, not including my own, ahead of you, and I need to do these other cars. Oh, please, Bob, and it's just, oh God, I hate this. So it was always my plan to put a lift in the garage when I put the garage up. Wasn't planning on doing it yet, but it's just come to the head of the line. I got to have the garage so the lift so I can work on cars. So um, I already figured out what lift I want. It's in Orlando. I'm gonna go get it. All I got to do, I got my joists in for my floor now. The living room, the upstairs was done already. You guys saw pictures of that. It's completely full of everything that was under the floor over here is now upstairs above the hobby shop or the hobby room. And now I've got a clear path. I can put two cars underneath there right now and build we got to put the floor in. The reason I got to put the floor in is because the flooring wood is in the middle of the garage floor. I can't put the lift in until I move the wood. The wood's in the way. I can't get the lift in until I move the wood. So I'm going to get that wood in, get that floor done, and then everything else stops, and we're going to go to Orlando, get the lift on my trailer, come home, and put the lift in so that I can work on cars in between working on this and everything else. So that's moved to the head of the line because I've got two more cars and a third one I got another car coming Wednesday I got to work on. It happens to be a 300 SRT8. Not a big job. All I got to do, and I guess it's common on these cars. I don't know. I just got one, but mine does it, so I know I have to fix my own. The blend door, you know, the little mechanism door that opens and closes to move your air conditioning, heating. You know, it goes one way to heat, goes the other way for air conditioning, and if you want something in between, that's why they call it a blend door. You want more heat, you know, you move it closer to blocking off the air conditioning, and you get more heat, and then you want more, you know, air conditioning, you go the other way. And well, the gear strip in these and they're not expensive. I think it's 33 bucks. And the gear strips, and you hear it clicking, click, 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 and then you can't get the air conditioning. You can't get any heat or air conditioning. So he's having that problem with his 300, and he's bringing it over Wednesday so I can fix it. So I don't need the lift for that. But the other two cars I've got here that I'm working on, I do need the lift for, and I need the lift to work on my own cars, change oil, do some training service on the one. And then, of course, I'm going to need the lift to do the training service on the new Super Bee. It's got a leak. You know, it did drive off the trailer. It does go into gear. It's got other issues, too. I think it needs an ECU, you know, the computer. You know, the car doesn't know it's in gear. So what does that mean? Well, it means that you can't over-rev it. You know, it's got a rev limiter on it. When you're in neutral or in park, it'll only rev to 3,500 RPM. Okay, but when you put it in gear, the rev limiter goes away. Well, I'm in gear, I'm driving down the road, and it only goes to 3,500 RPM, and I can't go any faster. So it thinks the car's still in neutral. So either there's a sensor or something that's not working, or the computer's bad. So I got to find that and figure out what that is, so that I can get the car to, you know, rev. And training's not shifting either. Now, it was low on fluid for quite a while. It's been sitting in his yard. He said 6 months, which usually means a year and 6 months. I think the valves are stuck. You know, the pistons inside the valve body, I think, are stuck. I think if I just keep running it, yeah, they'll get unstuck and it'll work. So that's what I'm hoping for, anyway. But I got to get I got to change the lines first because I got a leak. So we got to do that, and I got to have it on a lift for that. I can't do it on the ground. These bent lines you got to install them, and it goes up, and then you're going to have it swung down here like this, and then you got to swing it around up like this to get in farther the next step, and then back around, and there's no way to do it on the ground. You got to be on a lift. So I'm going to replace the training lines. Hopefully that's what's wrong with it. I'll find out once I get it on the lift. So that's why the lift moved to the head of the class. I just need the lift. My one friend's Impala needs his air conditioning fixed. He's had it serviced at 2 different places and broke there's a bracket on the front of the motor. It's an aluminum bracket that holds the air conditioning compressor, the power steering pump, and the alternator are all held on this one bracket. And because they don't install the air conditioning correctly, there's a screw in the back that you have to put on the back to support the back side of the air conditioner to the block. Okay? The front side of it's bolted to that bracket, and it's an aluminum bracket, but the back side has a little tiny bracket. It's a steel little L-shaped bracket that bolts to the back of the compressor and bolts to the block. And if you don't put that in, you're going to break that aluminum bracket. So he's broke it twice because the guys he's got working on the car don't put that bracket in. You know, they don't support the back of the air conditioner. So I have to fix. I've already got it all pulled apart. I've got another bracket. I've got several of them here. But I don't want to. I can't. Well, I could, but I'm not gonna. I can install the bracket. I can install a compressor, bolt it to the front aluminum thing, and I can do all that. But I can't put that little bracket on the back of the compressor on the ground. I mean, I could, but I ain't gonna. I'm gonna get it on the lift so I can do it right with some comfort. I can not laying on my back in the dirt or on my garage floor here with it on jack stands or ramps. Or I'm just not gonna do it. I'm too old to be doing that crap anymore. At 65, I shouldn't even be working on cars, let alone working on them on my back on the ground in the dirt. So I'm not going to do it. So we're going to get a lift so I can fix these cars. The other car is a Honda Civic, and it needs an air conditioning clutch. And same thing, the air conditioning compressor's at the bottom of the motor. Of course, the motor's in the car sideways. The compressor pulley and clutch are too close to the frame rail. You can't get it off the compressor. You can unbolt it, but you can't get it off. It's going to hit the frame rail. You can't. So you got to unbolt the compressor and move the compressor and kind of cock it a little bit to get that off. So I can't change her clutch until I can get the air conditioner. And same thing, I'm not going to lay on my back underneath the Honda Civic that's already, almost on the ground anyway, and try to do that. So I need the lift for that. So I got too many things. And the lift's always been in the radar. It wasn't supposed to be yet, but I'm changing the radar. It's now the bullseye of the radar. I'm going to get that done first. What else is going on? Let me think. Anything new and exciting other than that? I think you're pretty caught up. I think. Haven't bought any more 3D printers. 3's enough, at least for now. I printed. So the birthday party I went to today, my attorney's mom, 84 years old. I printed her a whole bunch of new vases that I've never printed. And I got 2 of them in particular, and I wish I had them here to show them to you. Were really badass cool. So I'm going to print another one. I'll probably start that print. I'm going to change out this black spool for the brass. This is brass. All right, so you can see the difference. This is gold. Okay. And this is gold. And this is brass. Okay, and you say, well, that kind of looks orange. Well, I'll show you what orange looks like. All right. This is so shiny reflective. So here's orange. Now, they're close in shade of color, but this isn't reflective. All right. This is just flat, right? And this has got a lot of reflectiveness to it. So... And it's not coming out on camera near as good as it looks in person. This is really beautiful. So I printed her. I didn't print her one of these, but I printed with this material, and it was a bolder, more angular. I don't know. It had a twist to it, but not like this. It came out. It was awesome. It came out really good. And then I printed this really, really intricate. What's the word? Intricate. And it was a mind-blowing looking print because it says it'll print in vase mode. They were continuous like this, but it's got these layovers, like there's something printed behind it. It looks like that's the way it looks. You see these. There's these shoots going off like this. The stuff's behind it, and it all intermixes, and it's just the coolest looking thing. And I'm like, how in the world is that going to print 3D in vase mode? If it was just doing layers, it'd be easy. But well, it turns out that it is doing it. It's basically doing diamonds to get the effects it wants. So it starts off at a point where it's just nipping it, and then each pass it gets deeper in, okay, and it gets wider and deeper and wider, deeper, wider, and it just basically is an inverted diamond that gives you the effect of the relief. And then there's another one that swings over it this way, and that makes it look like it's overlapping this, and the way it comes out is it's incredible. So I'm going to print one out of the brass. I did hers in the red copper, which I believe that this is the red copper right here, and I did it in the red copper, and it looked really good. So now I'm going to do one in brass and see how it looks. I think that's going to look really cool. So those are two prints I'll probably do and show you guys. They're really cool. And other than that, I mean, I printed a bunch of new stuff for her. I think I did 7 brand new vases I've never printed before, and I think I only gave her 2 that I did do already. So that was a total of 9. Yeah, I actually didn't give her the one though. I broke it. It was this little tea light, and you know, you put one of these little fake candles inside it, and it looks really cute and cool, and it's small and it's clear, transparent, and this goes in there. It looks really cool, and I dropped it on the floor and blew a hole in it right there. And I'm sure at some point you'll see it. So I couldn't give that to her, but I'll print another one, and maybe I'll, if depending on how she feels about the ones I already printed her, I'll print her a new one and give it to her if she wants it. If she liked the other ones, and if she doesn't, then I won't bother. I'll still print another one for me, but I won't print it for her. So it's up to her if she wants it or not. I'll love this woman. I'll give her anything she wants. She's a wonderful woman. So if she likes any of them, and say, hey, can I get that one in this color? Absolutely. I will gladly print you it any color, any way, whatever you want, you get it. I'll be happy to do that for you. I was very happy to print her all these. The other thing that's really cool about the vases is that they're quick. Okay, this thing printed in 58 minutes. Okay, this takes about 2 hours to print. This 30-inch tall one, which is the height of this, that's 30 inches, or not 30 inches, 300 millimeters. I'm sorry, not 30 inches, 300 millimeters. That printed in under 3 hours, and it was, this big around. So that was a big, but it's just going, it's hollow, and it just goes around like this. So it doesn't take much filament. I mean, it doesn't use hardly any filament to print. So you can, a roll of film, a roll of filament will print 10, 12, 15 vases, no problem. It's an easy print. They're pretty quick, and they rarely use any filament. This used almost a half a roll, and it's heavy. This some bitch is heavy. I've got a lot of infill in it. And I'll tell you, I learned my lesson on that. And I'll tell you why I did a lot of infill. The first one I didn't have any infill in it, and printed it in this position. Well, when it got to the top here, this all was beautiful. Everything in here great, looks beautiful. When I got to the top here and it's trying to print the grill, well, with no infill in there, it had nothing to lay the grill and the headlights on, so it didn't print them. There was a big void in the front of the car, just a big open hole, like a catfish, and because there was nothing inside for the print, to print on. So I learned my lesson. I put infill in it. I'm a little surprised how heavy this is, but there's there's more of this support that I got to pull off. That's all this support here, and then all the support on the side, all these rails here have to come off. Let me rip those off real quick just to show you. All right, so look at how smooth the side of the car is. Printing it in this position, and it, it just came out, super smooth. My stream's a little behind, so I was waiting to see what it looked like. I want to get it in the light right for you, but I don't think I can get it. Oh, wait a minute. it's a little behind. Hang on. Okay. Yeah, I'm still behind. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, so the sides came out beautiful. The windows, the roof, everything looks really, really good. The back end, I'm looking now. I've been moving some of this support away. The tail lights are perfect. The back of the trunk lid's fine. Um, Generally, what happens back here, I'm going to take a quick look. Um, the bumper cover gets kind of boogered up because the supports are attached to the bumper cover, and when you peel this off, it usually leaves something behind. But if a part of my car has to look bad, I like it to be the back of the car, because who displays a car on a shelf this way, where you're looking at the back of the car, right? Nobody does that. It's always the front of the car. Front of the car, 3/4 side, or side. Nobody ever puts the back of the car, out. So if the back of the car doesn't look great, it's not a huge loss. And if the rest of the car looks great, I can live with the fact that the back of the car doesn't. So I'm trying to pull some of this off to get a look here. Not have it. Yeah, it's just stuck too good. When I got to do a silver one of these for my other buddy, and I'm definitely going to cut the flow back down to see if it releases better than this, because this is terrible. I might end up having to just reprint this, because it doesn't want to come off. Well, it's coming off, but there's going to be a lot of sanding involved. Yeah, what I'm seeing in the back here kind of resembles this. And obviously that's going to take a lot of sanding to clear that up, So, but anyway, yeah, I learned my lesson on the first car, which was that one. That not to print it this way. Okay, you want to, and they recommended printing it this way, but if I had printed it this way, then the side of the car would look like this, and the underside of the car would look like this, because of all the support that would be holding the whole side of the car up off the build plate, because of only the very farthest thing, which is the wheels, touches the build plate, and the rest of it's going to have all that support in it, and so I'd have to be sanding the whole side of this and the whole side of So the only thing I have to touch up here is the back of the car, and I probably won't bother. There's a little bit of that in the front, on the top of the grill here. I'm not going to lie to you. There's a little bit here, but I could live with that. It's not that bad, And I'm sure if I sanded it, it would clean up quite a bit. But the rest of the car looks good. The top of the car, sides of the car, all this looks really good. I'm hoping the wheels are going to come out. Part of the problem with the wheels in these cars is that it tries to print the rotor and the caliper. Well, in any position other than this position, and even this position doesn't work, there's nothing behind it to support it. Okay? Once you go in from the axle, and then there's a rotor, what do you put, you got to put support in there. Well, then once you get the support in and it prints the rotor, how do you get the support out? Between this rib, the spokes and the wheel. Oh my God, what a nightmare that is. So yeah, I absolutely don't recommend doing that. Yeah, just don't do it. You'll hate it. So I just tore these off, and even the back of the car here is beautiful. Behind the wheel here, there's no hint of the support touching it. It just looks great. So yeah. So now I just have to dig. I got to finish digging off the support on the bottom, and then dig all the crap out of the wheels. And it's a lot of crap. I got to tell you, it's a major pain in the butt to dig that crap out of the wheels. So I can see what's happening here. That's going to be tough. I think it's trying to tear off the inner wheel well, which I don't think you could see it anyway. So it's really probably not a problem, but um, yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I have no idea why I printed like this. This is so weird. I just printed this double wall cavity underneath the car. I have no idea why. Weird. Very weird. I really don't understand this. Weird. But it's coming off, and it's the bottom of the car. Nobody's gonna see it, so I'm not overly concerned about, what's going on here. I'm not gonna lose sleep over it, I can tell you that. I kind of want to see if these exhaust pipes are gonna tear off with this, or they're gonna stay put. Yeah, is that part of the? Is that the exhaust? Can't tell. Well, no, the exhaust is there. Well, anyway. So I got a bunch more of it, tore off. So, anyway, it's a good print. I mean, it's a good file. It's going to make a real pretty car. I'm going to print the silver one tonight, so it's done by tomorrow. I'll set, and when I sign off here, I'll get that one started, and we'll maybe I'll go live tomorrow sometime. We'll see. If it rains, can't go flying. Well, hell, go live. What the fuck? So clearly she'll want one. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Captain Wrong Way Peach Fuzz. Peach Fuzz? I just shaved. How the hell do I have peach fuzz? I took a shower before I went to the party and shaved. There shouldn't be any peach fuzz. Don't feel like it to me. So, I can't grow. I don't know how you do it, Fred. I could never grow that. If I hadn't shaved from birth, it wouldn't look like yours. I mean, honest to God, it wouldn't. I can't grow. I can't grow facial hair. I mean, I could get a little bit of a mustache probably if I just let it grow, but I don't get anything right here. So I'm gonna have two big voids right here. Um, so I'll have hair here, no hair here, and then I'll have some hair over here, maybe a little bit, and it just looks awful. I just can't. I don't have. I practically have no hair on my body. My arms are clean. There's some tiny, tiny little peach fuzz on my arms. There's nothing on my chest, nothing on my legs. Um, but I got a full head of hair. That's where you want it. If you want hair on you, that's where you want it. And I have a thick, thick, full head of hair. I don't have hair anywhere else. I'm, almost completely. I look like I shave. Like I shave my whole body, and I just don't. I can't grow hair. So, and I'm glad. To me, it's a blessing. I don't want to grow hair. My brother. The funny thing is, my brother's just the opposite. He looks like Bigfoot. I mean, he's got so much hair, back hair, that he looks like Bigfoot. It comes out over under his collar here, and we're brothers. We're brothers. I mean, for crying out loud. How in the world does I have no hair and he's got gobs and gobs and gobs of hair? Crazy. I think my dad. I don't remember specifically, but I think my dad was hairy. He definitely could grow facial hair. My dad had a 5 o'clock shadow at 10:30 in the morning. I mean, he could grow, and he never grew a beard. He never, not while. I've never seen a picture of him with a mustache. Oh wait a minute, he did have a mustache once. I did see a picture of him with a mustache, but never a beard. And yeah, he can grow facial hair like nobody's business, and I can't. So, but I have his hair. My brother has my mom's hair, real curly, super super curly, and mine's poker straight. So it if it gets real long, it gets wavy, but it's pretty straight. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't get the hair, the body hair gene, because oh my god, I really hate that. So, all right, so let's see. Is there? God, I know there's something new I'm forgetting to tell you guys. I don't know what it is. It's either something I did on the apartment, something I did to a car, something I did to a plane. What did I work on? Oh, I know one thing I could tell you about. So, I don't know if you guys remember. I won that radio year and a half ago at that fly-in, and it was a Radio Master radio, but it was clear, and it has lights in it, so it lights up all this psychedelic, gyration, crazy stuff. Oh, who would display the 300 from the back? Okay, Fred, now I get it. Anyway, Well, so I decided, since it's got lights on, I'm going to make that my night fly radio, right? It makes sense. If we're going to fly an airplane in the dark, we might as well have a light up radio, right? So I want to put all my night fly airplanes on the radio. Well, I finally started fooling around with the radio, and it's just slightly different than the regular Radio Master radio I have. And I got the Flex Twin Otter on that radio, and I haven't figured out it flies slightly different on that radio than the other radio. I don't know. I haven't looked. I haven't had time to look, but it could be that I have maybe some expo on one, not the other. You know, maybe I turned the rates down. I don't think I did, but I haven't done a screen by screen comparison to see what might be different. But not a huge difference, but it's slightly different. So I have to look at that and see if I can figure out, what the deal is, because I don't want to say it's annoying. It's just peculiar, So, but I'm glad I finally, I've been wanting to do that radio for a long time now, and I finally. Originally, I was going to use it. It came with the new 900 long range protocol in it, and that's not. That alone wouldn't have been bad enough. But the problem is the receivers, when you buy them, don't come bound or even calibrated, or even, I guess, firmware loaded, so you can just use them. You got to plug them in and load them, and I'm like, no way. I am not going through all this every time I want to put a receiver in an airplane. Forget it. I ain't doing it. So I bought they call it the 4-in-1. You can order the radio. It's the 900 long range or the 4-in-1. And if you get the 4-in-1, it's the standard setup where you can Spectrum or Tactic, or there's 70 different protocols. If you order the 900. Oh, excuse me. If you order the 900, long range, then that's what you get, and it's just that. You have to buy those receivers. With the other one, I can buy any receiver I want, pretty much. I can buy Radio Master receivers. I can buy Free Sky receivers. I can buy Spectrum receivers. I can buy Tactic receivers. I can buy Hunsun receivers. It'll fly all this stuff, right? So I'm not married to one receiver. I can buy any of these and make it work in this radio. So, I won the radio, so I can't, say, hey, can I trade this in for, But so I bought the module. It's got a bay where you can add a module. So I bought the 4-in-1 module, put it in the bay, turn the bay on, boom, bound right up, ready to go. I can fly, my, all my planes, night planes, on that radio. So I'm gonna start loading all those planes on that radio, all my night planes, so that I know if I'm going to fly a night airplane, I need that radio. And it's kind of cool. And I know, well, that would be distracting. Yeah, probably. Luckily, you can turn it off. You can turn the crazy lighting off if you want to. So I could probably have it all running, and while I'm taxiing the airplane out to the runway, and then when I get ready to take off, just turn the lights off. Fly it around, land, turn the lights back on, taxi it back to the pits. We'll see. They might not be that distracting. I haven't flown in the dark yet, so we'll find out. But, I wanted to use that radio, and I thought the best, since it lights up in the dark, I think the best time to use it would be, for night flying. So I might as well put all my night flyers on that radio. So, and I probably have a couple dozen night flyers, all in all. Some of them I forgot I even had, like the the Radiant glider. I forgot I had that. Somebody was flying one, and I'm like, oh shit, hey, I got one of those. Totally forgot that. You know, and I, at the moment, well, it's got to be over there. I was going to say, I don't even know where it is, but it's got to be over there. You know, behind this wall is where all the airplanes are. So it's got to be over there. Um, so that was something else I got accomplished this weekend while I was trying to get ready to go flying. Um, Ended up not doing any night flying myself. It was still dusk, and I did put lights in. I did light up the Twin Otter, the Flex Twin Otter, and I flew it with the lights on. You could see the light; it was lit up. So I flew that around one flight, and then I packed my stuff and went home. I'd had enough. I was tired. You know, no sleep, a little bit of, you know, very little sleep. Just, I was tired. Got aggravated about people on the runway, and I'm going home. So I did one flight with the radio with the night lights, and I went home. So there's always tomorrow. I guess I'm going to be flying tomorrow if I get to bed tonight at a reasonable hour, and then remember to wake up in the morning. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so I think that covers it. I don't think. Yeah, I really can't think of anything else that's new to update you guys with. I'm pretty much. I think you're pretty caught up. I think we're good. The progress on the man cave here, the apartment, I call it the man cave, the garage mahal, going well. I mean, it's going. Problem I'm having now is it's too hot. I come out here in the middle of the night. Usually I come out here at 1 o'clock in the morning and work till 9 or 10. By then it's getting too hot to work out here. So then I go in the house, go to sleep for 4 or 5 hours, maybe 6. You know, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then start my day from there. You know, whatever I'm doing day hours, waiting for nighttime again to come back out here and start working on this some more. So oh, there's one more thing about that. So listen. I don't waste anything. I just despise waste. I gotta tell you, just printing these damn multicolor prints in my Anycubic, and all this poop, you know, just disturbs the fuck out of me. All right, I mean, this bothers the shit out of me. But that, if you want to do multicolors, that you got to do it. So I've only done 2 multicolored prints. They were small little bunny rabbits. They came out really cute. They're nice and everything. But all this poop for these 2 small little bunny rabbits. And so I hate wasting them. All right. So the wood that, when I framed out this building for the concrete, you know, I went and bought, I think, 12 or 14, I don't remember, 12 or 14 16-footers. They were 2x10s. I think I bought 14 of them. 2x10 by 16. Okay? And the reason I bought 2x10 by 16 is, A, it was because of the size of the building. It came out kind of even. I didn't have to cut too many boards to, you know, make my mold, my framework for the concrete. And when I was done, I knew I'd be able to take the 16-footers and use them as the floor joists on this part of the apartment because I knew it was going to be 16 feet. So I had all that in mind. I was not, I'm not going to waste. But they had concrete all over them. After we did the concrete work, you got dried concrete on them that's dusty and gritty, and so I got my Orbiter sander out, and I went out and I sanded. And I put a mask on and everything. It was because it was a dusty mess. But I sanded all those boards, top, bottom, ends, everything, to get all the. I didn't get it all off because it's kind of, wet concrete probably got embedded into the grain of the wood. So there's probably some concrete still in the wood. But what I did was I took the sander and I just sanded the side of the wood just to knock all the concrete off. I really wasn't trying to sand the wood down. I just wanted to get all the concrete cleared off it so it was nice and smooth. So that's done. I did all of that. I did have one board that was bad. It cracked badly. I didn't like it. I wasn't comfortable using it. So I went and bought one more board at Home Depot. Of course, I didn't need to sand that one. It's a brand new one. Brought it in and put it in. Took that one out, put that one in. So all the joists are up. They're all sanded, clean, ready to start screwing them in, and then start putting the straps underneath and the floor on top. So that's what we're going to be working on. That's priority 1 right now, so that I can get the wood off the floor. So priority 2 is the lift. So yeah, so we got to get the floor in so that we can get the lift in. So that's what I'm going to be working on this week. Is try to finish the floor in what I'm going to call that the living room, because the elevated part that's high enough for me to park 3 cars under is 28 feet long, 16 feet wide, and that's what I consider the living room, kitchen, and bathroom are all going to be on that floor. And I got 28 feet, so that's plenty of room to put a bathroom, and then the bathroom wall will be, the inside of the bathroom wall will be the bathroom, the outside of the bathroom wall will be the inside wall of the kitchen. And I'm going to put, cabinets in there and a sink and, countertop on that same wall. So they're going to share. That way I can run all the plumbing down that one wall. Nowhere else. It's just going to go down that one wall. Sink on this side, shower in there that will be plumbed into the same wall. That's the way the shower is going to face. And there's not going to be a toilet in there because I can't hook it up to the septic system. So when I'm going to put a toilet in, I'm gonna have a standby. You either call it a camping or a marine toilet, which is a self-contained toilet that you use in an emergency, and then you take it and you can dump it. You take it out in the woods or whatever, and you can empty it, rinse it out, and it's ready to use again. So in the case of an emergency, I'll have that in here available to take a poop if you have to. We'll just go in the house and do our business, So, but I can wash my hands. I can take a shower out here. So if I'm working on a car, get filthy dirty, I can take my clothes off out here, get my shower, take a shower, put on clean clothes, then go in the new house. So that's why I'm building it that way. And then that's the bathroom's only going to be about. I think I'm only going to go 6 feet wide. So that still leaves 22 feet of living area, which will be the kitchen and the living room. Okay? And I don't see that. It should be fine. Should be plenty of room to put a pool table up there, sofa, love seat, chair maybe, big screen TV all the way at the far end. It should be fine. That's the plan anyway. So yeah, so that's where we're at. Now the flooring where the bathroom is already done. So I could start building the bathroom right now, but I want to. That's not priority one. I got to get the rest of the floor in, so I can get the wood off the floor, so I can get the lift in. That's priority one. So I was originally going to just start building the bathroom because I thought we were going to get moving on the trailer. That's a whole nother story for another day. That's not happening as fast as I want it. I thought we were going to need to be able to use that bathroom sooner than I thought, and so I was going to stop the flooring and just build the bathroom first. But we don't have. Never mind. We don't have to do that. So we're back to floor first, lift second, then we'll come back to start building the bathroom. In between working on cars and whatever else. So yeah. So that's where we're at. I haven't seen any new airplanes. Have you? Anybody? Did Horizon come out with anything in the last? I have the last 2 Thursdays. I've completely missed. Anything new and exciting that you guys want to share that I don't know about? Banana hobbies, general hobbies, tower hobbies, aero, hobby zone. Who else? Flex. Anything new out, guys, that I should know about? That you guys found interesting? The Dynam Super Tucano looks good to me. I'm really interested in that one. I might order that. I really think, that looks pretty cool. So I'll probably order that. Yeah. All right, Fred. Well, since nobody's got anything to share about airplanes, I'm crashing too. We're done. We're gonna call it. It's almost 2. That's long enough. I'm gonna set up another print here and get that started. Then I'm going in the house to go to bed because I might have to go flying tomorrow. So, anyways, thanks guys. Thanks for being here. I hope I didn't bore you too much. And we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Maybe next weekend we'll do this again. I don't know promises, but no, I just never know what I'm going to be doing on a Saturday night. But I did want to do this tonight, so I tried to get it out of there as quick as I could. So anyway, all right, guys, have a great night. Thanks for being here. Like, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll catch you next week. All right, talk to you later. Bye bye.